When we talk about Hollywood superstars, Denzel Washington is one of the biggest. He won 2 Oscars, played amazing characters, and everyone respects him because he works hard. But when the cameras aren't rolling, things haven't always been easy. For many years, Denzel has kept his private fights hidden until now. From big arguments with directors who were mean to him to walking out of Diddy's party because he was disgusted to that scary Oscars night with Will Smith, his quiet side is finally showing. And when someone betrays him, Denzel has made one thing super clear: I don't forgive betrayal. Today we're talking about the top 6 actors Denzel Washington hated the most, and the crazy stories behind each fight. Number 1. Tyler Perry. In Hollywood, when big egos clash, it's nothing new. But when Denzel Washington and Tyler Perry found themselves on different sides of a creative fight, it wasn't just about style. It became a big problem. Denzel has built his career on hard work, good acting skills, and respect for telling stories. For him, every role is something special. Every script is a chance to say something important. Tyler Perry, on the other hand, has built a billion-dollar business on being fast and flashy, making movies and shows so quickly that critics shake their heads. To many people, Perry proves that being fast and making money can beat being artistic. To Denzel, it was something else completely. No respect for good acting. Even though Washington never had a big public fight, his feelings have slipped out in interviews and conversations. Quality takes time. He once said, "If you rush it, you make it cheap." It wasn't hard for people listening to understand what he meant. Perry's factory-style way of making movies, where scripts get rewritten while filming, where actors get fired if they can't memorize changes overnight, was the complete opposite of what Denzel believed in. And then came the stories. Actor and voice coach Brandon Jay said that working on Perry's Meet the Browns felt like a whole week squeezed into one day. He remembered the chaos, last-minute rewrites, impossible things they expected, and a workplace that felt more like a factory than a movie set. Denzel, who has always said preparation and respect are important, got really upset when he heard stories like this. "That's not storytelling," he told a younger actor in private. "That's taking advantage of people." The whispers got darker. A lawsuit said Perry created a mean, taking-advantage atmosphere on his movie sets. Actor Christian Keys, who had worked with Perry for almost 20 years, broke down crying on Instagram. "I can press play, and you'll hear the man offering me $100,000 to take my clothes off." He said he didn't say names, but everyone in the business buzzed with guesses. With Perry's name so tied to the accusations, Washington's quiet dislike seemed to turn into something colder. Distance. Tyler Perry, for his part, has never directly attacked Denzel, but in moments of pride, he's drawn his own sharp lines. "I don't make movies for critics," Perry once said. "I make movies for my audience." It was a subtle but pointed defense, a way of saying that men like Denzel, with their focus on art and legacy, just didn't understand the machine Perry had built. And yet beneath the polite sound bites, the divide was clear. Where Denzel talked about doing the right thing, Perry talked about surviving. Where Denzel said be patient, Perry said be in control. Two different ideas of black success in Hollywood, one based on tradition, the other on shaking things up, crashed together in a way that made making up almost impossible. Did the fight ever end? In public, yes. The two have never had an open war. They nod in interviews, share the occasional photo, and let the press guess. But people on the inside say the respect is limited. The relationship is strained. They don't work together. They don't support each other's work. And they don't cross paths unless the business forces them to. At 70, Denzel's position hasn't gotten softer. "I believe in respect, hard work, and good storytelling," he told an audience not long ago. He didn't need to say Perry's name. Everyone understood. And Perry, he continues to grow his business without being bothered. To him, the critics can talk, the actors can complain, and Denzel Washington can stay quiet. The machine keeps going, but in the eyes of Denzel Washington, staying quiet speaks loudly. And when it comes to Tyler Perry, his silence says it all. Number 2. Sean Diddy Combs. Denzel Washington has always lived by rules. For him, Hollywood was never about fancy things, too much stuff, or chasing headlines. It was about working hard, showing respect, and keeping your dignity. Fame in his world wasn't permission to lose control. It was a test of who you really are. Sean Diddy Combs was the opposite. Bold, flashy, and bigger than life, Diddy loved the energy of late-night parties, fancy ropes, and endless shows. Where Denzel saw holding back as being strong, Diddy saw being over the top as having power. The clash between them wasn't planned. It happened in real life in 2003 at one of Diddy's crazy parties. Denzel came with his wife, Pauletta. At first it was the usual Hollywood scene. Music loud, drinks flowing, the crowd buzzing with celebrity energy. But then something happened. Something that cut through the noise and pushed Denzel past his breaking point. People who were there remember him confronting Diddy, his voice sharp, his words clear. "You don't respect anyone." The room went silent. Minutes later, Denzel and Pauletta walked out. No explanations, no fake smiles, just quiet, firm exit. Those who were there whispered about what might have caused the outburst. Some said Denzel had seen behavior that disgusted him. Others thought it was just the environment itself. The too much, the arrogance, the not caring about dignity. Denzel never explained. He didn't need to. His actions said enough. Years later, when asked about Hollywood parties, Denzel's words carried the weight of that night. "You leave 30 minutes before the devil gets there." It was advice he gave to younger actors like Brandon T. Jackson. Don't stay too long. Don't lose yourself. Don't get swallowed by the darkness that comes when the music stops and fake faces show. To Denzel, the fight wasn't just about Diddy. It was about a culture he wanted no part of. In one interview, he admitted, "I don't have friends in Hollywood. My friends are regular people. I'm a loner." For him, parties were traps, not celebrations. And Diddy? He never publicly fought back. Maybe he dismissed the moment as a clash of personalities. Maybe he understood that Washington wasn't a man to be pulled into a fight. But those close to him say Diddy wasn't used to being corrected, especially not so directly, and certainly not in his own house. The break never healed, not because it got worse, but because it was never meant to. Denzel never tried to make up. He just walked away as he always does when a line gets crossed. 20 years later, their worlds stay far apart. Diddy continues to make headlines for reasons that have little to do with music. Lawsuits, scandals, accusations of abuse. Denzel, meanwhile, stays the elder statesman of Hollywood. Quiet, respected, untouchable. What happened in 2003 wasn't just a fight. It was a statement. Denzel Washington made it clear that he would not bow to the chaos of celebrity culture or to men like Sean Diddy Combs who represented it. And to this day, he hasn't looked back. Number 3, Oprah Winfrey. Denzel Washington has always drawn a line between Hollywood fake stuff and personal doing the right thing. To him, fame doesn't last, but dignity is permanent. He never chased after celebrity friendships or fake alliances. As he once admitted, "I don't have friends in Hollywood. My friends are regular people." That way of thinking shaped his view of people like Oprah Winfrey. To the world, Oprah was a shining light, a cultural giant who built her empire on caring, empowering others, and giving people a platform. But for Denzel, there was always a question hiding beneath the polished surface. Did her influence lift people up, or did it control them? The tension didn't explode with a screaming match or a public insult. It showed itself in something quieter. Denzel's warning to young black actors. "Be careful in Hollywood," he said. He didn't say names, but many people in the business understood who he meant. Oprah's name was whispered again and again. To Denzel, being real mattered above all else. He saw too many young talents seduced by power only to be thrown away when they no longer fit the image. Oprah, in his eyes, became the example of that danger. A person who seemed to champion black excellence, but only on her terms. Others began echoing that same worry. Monique, after her Oscar win for Precious, accused Oprah and Tyler Perry of helping blacklist her. She stood on stage at the Apollo and declared, "They stopped me from working." Tyler Perry admitted he started the rumor that I was difficult. He lied. Ice Cube, too, voiced his frustration. "They don't like that I'm an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd." And then there was Michael Jackson. His 1993 interview with Oprah, shown to millions, was supposed to make him seem more human. Instead, Oprah asked the questions tabloids loved. Just recently, there was a story about you wanting to have a little white boy play you in a Pepsi commercial. Jackson replied, "That is so stupid." For fans, it was betrayal. Rather than defend Michael against rumors, Oprah had made them bigger. Years later, when she promoted Leaving Neverland, interviewing two men who accused Jackson of abuse, the sense of betrayal got deeper. He had never been found guilty, but Oprah helped spread the story. To Denzel and to many others, it was the ultimate breaking of trust. Oprah, of course, saw it differently. "I come from a centered place. I come from compassion. It's just my nature," she said in defense of her choices. To her, hard questions weren't being mean. They were part of truth-telling. But for Denzel, truth had to come with respect. To him, there was nothing good about tearing down a man who couldn't defend himself. There was nothing caring about excluding independent voices like Ice Cube or punishing a woman like Monique for refusing to play the game. The fight between Denzel and Oprah has never exploded into headlines. There are no viral clips of shouting matches, no direct insults in interviews. Instead, it lives in the silences, in the way Denzel keeps his circle small, in the way he refuses to chase her approval, in the weight of his warning to others. Be careful. And Oprah, she has never addressed Denzel directly. She doesn't need to. Her empire rolls on, her image carefully managed, her influence unchanged in the eyes of her fans. But among those who listen closely, the distance is obvious. As one Hollywood insider put it, they don't hate each other. They just don't trust each other. And in this town, that's worse. Two icons, two ways of thinking. Oprah with her empire built on exposure. Denzel with his legacy built on holding back. Their paths may cross in public, but in private, they stand worlds apart. And in Hollywood, silence often says more than words. Number 4. Will Smith. If there's one thing Denzel Washington has never put up with, it's losing control in public. To him, discipline is the most important part of both acting and life. Success in his world isn't measured by fame or money. It's measured by how you act when the lights are brightest. So when Will Smith shocked the world at the 2022 Oscars by slapping comedian Chris Rock on live television, Denzel didn't see a meme or a headline. He saw a man falling apart. He saw a moment that went against the very rules he's lived by for decades. Wow. The word echoed through the Dolby Theater, shocked gasps filling the silence. And while most of Hollywood sat frozen, Denzel got up. He walked straight toward Will Smith, not as a co-worker, not even as a friend, but as an elder, determined to face what he believed was a dangerous path. Later he explained simply, "There's no way I could have just sat there. That's not who I am." For Denzel, it wasn't about choosing sides between Will and Chris Rock. It was about reminding Will and everyone watching that fame is fragile and that in a single moment, success can become self-destruction. Backstage, he didn't scold. He gave advice. His words became the most quoted of the night. "At your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you." It wasn't a metaphor. It was a warning. Denzel had seen enough of Hollywood's temptations to know that when life crowns you, it also hunts you. Will, shaken, later repeated Denzel's words in interviews almost like a shield. He admitted that Washington's advice hit him in the gut. "Denzel said to me, 'At your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you.'" It was Smith's way of showing the world that he had listened, that even in disgrace, he held on to the advice of a man who had walked the road longer and wiser. But make no mistake, Denzel was disappointed. For a man who has always valued holding back, seeing one of Hollywood's most bankable stars let emotions spill into violence was more than upsetting. It was proof of what he had long warned younger actors about: the danger of letting ego take the wheel. Did Denzel hate Will Smith for it? No, hate wasn't the word. What he felt was something deeper. Disapproval. A sharp line between respect for the man's talent and dismay at his behavior. Their relationship since that night has been marked by distance wrapped in politeness. Denzel doesn't trash Will in interviews. He doesn't fan the flames. But those who know him say the slap created a crack, a silent disappointment that lingers. And for Will, he continues to carry Denzel's words, repeating them like scripture. But whether they're a reminder or a burden is anyone's guess. The slap will forever belong to Will Smith. The wisdom belongs to Denzel Washington. And between them lies a moment that turned into a lesson for Will, for Hollywood, and for anyone watching what happens when control gives way to chaos. Number 5. Eddie Murphy. To Denzel Washington, acting has never been about easy laughs or box office flash. It has always been about depth, dignity, and discipline. A craft to be treated with respect. He comes from the school of Sidney Poitier, where every role is a responsibility and every performance must carry weight. Eddie Murphy, by contrast, was Hollywood's king of comedy. Sharp, magnetic, and endlessly charismatic, he thrived on instinct, making things up on the spot, and timing. He didn't climb through Shakespearean seriousness or method rigor. He conquered by making audiences roar with laughter. When the two men crossed paths on Dreamgirls in the mid-2000s, the collision was bound to happen. The film, though rooted in music and drama, demanded discipline, exactly the quality Denzel valued most. According to Crew Whispers, Washington and Murphy clashed over creative direction. Murphy's loose, free-flowing style didn't always sit well with Denzel's exact approach. One insider recalled hearing raised voices and Denzel's sharp reply around, "Do you think I'm going to knock you out of here?" The dispute never stopped production, but the tension stayed. Both men played it down afterward, smiling for cameras and brushing off rumors. "Everything's fine," they each insisted. But behind the scenes, there was no mistaking it. This was not a natural pairing. The friction went beyond Dreamgirls. Eddie himself once told a story that revealed the undercurrent. He remembered a conversation with Sidney Poitier when he considered taking on a serious role in a Malcolm X project. Poitier, the towering icon of black cinema, offered a pointed reminder. "You are not Denzel Washington." Murphy admitted he wasn't sure whether it was a compliment or a slap. Either way, it stuck. He told friends later that he always felt the weight of that comparison, that invisible line between his comedic brilliance and Denzel's dramatic seriousness. For Denzel, it was never about hating Eddie Murphy personally. It was about standards. He believed in choosing roles that lift people up, that last, that honor the craft. Murphy's gift for comedy was undeniable. But in Denzel's eyes, comedy could too easily slip into stereotype. He wanted no part of that. Publicly, Eddie Murphy has always kept his tone light when it comes to Washington. He's praised Denzel's achievements, acknowledged his iconic status, and admitted that the Poitier line shaped the way he saw himself. Privately, though, those close to him say he always felt a little dismissed, like he was forever in the shadow of Denzel's seriousness. And Denzel, he never threw punches in interviews. He didn't have to. His silence, his distance, his insistence on discipline over making things up on the spot, those spoke louder than any insult could. Today, the two men exist in parallel lanes. They are polite when mentioned together, respectful in the way professionals must be, but there's no warmth, no working together, no shared history beyond that tension. The feud, if you can call it that, was never loud or theatrical. It was quieter, more subtle, a clash of ways of thinking. Eddie Murphy, the entertainer who lit up comedy stages, and Denzel Washington, the serious craftsman who demanded respect from every role. They never tried to destroy each other. They simply never understood each other. And in Hollywood, that quiet disconnect can cut deeper than open war. Number 6. Jamie Foxx. In Hollywood, few things create more friction than when two strong personalities clash on set. That's exactly what happened when Denzel Washington and Jamie Foxx came together for The Soloist. On paper, it was a dream pairing. Washington, the elder statesman of discipline and seriousness. Foxx, the versatile shapeshifter who could move between comedy, music, and drama with ease. But once the cameras rolled, creative sparks turned into something more explosive. Reports from the production described heated exchanges over how certain scenes should unfold. Denzel, known for his careful preparation and exact delivery, wanted structure and control. Foxx, by contrast, thrived on instinct, making things up on the spot, and emotional spontaneity. Neither man was willing to bend. "We need to stick to the script," Denzel reportedly told Foxx in one of their exchanges. "This isn't about showing off. It's about telling the story, right? Fox, quick with words and unafraid of confrontation, fired back. Man, sometimes you've got to let it breathe. Audiences don't want robots. They want real. The disagreement wasn't just about lines or blocking. It was about different ways of thinking. For Denzel, discipline was the foundation of good storytelling. For Fox, freedom was the path to truth. On set, those opposing visions clashed in full view of the cast and crew. The tension became so noticeable that whispers began circulating through the production. "They're both brilliant," one insider recalled, but when they locked horns, the room froze. To their credit, neither actor let the feud derail the film. They pushed through, delivered their performances, and carried the project to completion. But those close to the set say the atmosphere never fully recovered. The relationship was professional, never warm. Fox later tried to lighten the narrative in interviews, insisting there was no bad blood. "Denzel is Denzel," he said. "He's one of the greatest ever. You go toe-to-toe with him, you better bring your A-game." It was praise laced with competitiveness, a nod to respect, but also to the bruises of the clash. Denzel, for his part, chose restraint. He never aired grievances publicly, never singled out by name, but his silence carried weight. For a man who has always emphasized respect and discipline, the lack of warmth spoke louder than any insult. Did the feud ever end? Not exactly. Both men have avoided open hostility. They nod politely when asked. They praise each other's talent in vague terms, but insiders say they keep their distance. There are no future collaborations on the horizon, no plans to reunite on screen. What happened on The Soloist wasn't just a disagreement. It was a clash of worldviews. Denzel Washington, the craftsman who demands precision, and Jamie Foxx, the improviser who lives for unpredictability. Two artists, two ways of thinking, colliding under the pressure of a film set. And while the cameras captured a finished product, behind the scenes, the divide between them never fully healed. In the end, Denzel Washington's clashes, whether with Jamie Foxx, Will Smith, Tyler Perry, or others, aren't just about personal feuds. They reveal a man who has spent decades defending discipline, respect, and doing the right thing in an industry often fueled by ego and spectacle. He doesn't lash out for attention. He draws lines when principles are at stake. But what do you think? Was Denzel right to stand firm, or do these feuds show a side of him that's too uncompromising? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.